Versus was started basically on Broad Street over Nick's Deli, and a friend of mine named Paul Grant's apartment along with Lorna. And we were hungry for something different here in Richmond, man.
I was over at my boy Paul Grant's house, and I'm from Brooklyn, so I'm looking for places that have some creativity, some inspiration. You come home from work, you're like, okay, what do I do now? And I don't really like the club, and we used to just go to his house, and it got old. And then one day they just turned and looked at me like, you need to do something. And I'm like, why do I need to do something? Why don't you do something?
I had a conversation with a good friend of mine named Charles at the time, who knew this young lady named Lorna Pinckney. And he said, you got to hook up with her. She was interested in doing this event. We linked up, found out that we had a whole bunch of mutual friends up and down the coast, all across the country, who does this thing called spoken word.
So my people's down in Tidewater, they do Fuzzy Wednesdays. And they had been on me about doing something as well. And the very first thing I ever did was an event called Soul Kitchen. And, it was crazy. I mean, we used to do it once a month. And, I mean, it would be ridiculous, lines down the street and people flying in from out of town and, all this good stuff. And there were, like, young folks that used to come to it because they couldn't come in because you had to be 21. And they were like, could you do something we could all come to? And that's how Versus got started.
At that time, we were doing it just for the love, period. There wasn't no money involved. We were trying to just gain a name.
Versus ended up being where everybody went because, Soul Kitchen actually closed. It used to be in the John Marshall. And so I ended up with, Versus being like where all that energy went. And, when we first started it, none of that energy was over there. I mean, it was like, we really had to like work it. But once Soul Kitchen was done, all that energy ended up going over to Versus. And as a result, every Tuesday for 8 years, that's where we've been.
Versus is a therapeutic outlet for me, and I know that a lot of people benefit from it. People come in to do, to sing, to rap, to do the poetry, and it's a nice event.
I would say it's very honest. A lot of what you see at Versus is very honest. I feel like a lot of what happens on stage is a vessel from somewhere else. Everybody might not live by what they say, but it's a message that gets out there and gets people thinking. It was a place that I found that had people that were thinking about a lot of issues and just speaking on them on stage.
It's a space that doesn't really belong to any one person, although I might be the person that makes sure that it runs and that it's healthy. Everybody puts their piece into what makes it special. It's loved by everybody, from the musicians to the people who walk in the door to the venue. And I think that's what makes it special.
Man, my first time at Versus was Richmond, Virginia. Atmosphere was just was wholesome. It was loving. It was at Tropical Soul. Oh man, you have Miss Lorna like working the crowd. I think when I got on stage, I was just like, okay, what are these people gonna think about me? They gonna like me? They gonna not like me? Probably gonna boo me or something. And let me just do my thing. And I felt like, I started off a little too slow, but once the energy got going, the energy definitely got going.
Like I said, it was a slow process, but we continuously grew to the point where people started noticing us on a national basis. It amazed me to hear somebody in California talking about this place over in Richmond where you can go hear poetry. So, it's a beautiful thing.
About 2002, I decided I need to get rid of my friends. Dead up. I decided that they were not good for me. It was unhealthy friendships. And so I just went to God and I said, well, you need to redirect me into what I know, because obviously I can't make good decisions on relationships. They're all detrimental to my health. So I went into this hibernation period for 2 years where I was just by myself, me and my girls, and content. And then I started working at this place called Richmond Behavioral Health Authority. And I was always singing as I normally do since the womb. I'm a lovely, almost 36 years old, and that's just been part of my family heritage. And I was always singing in the chart room where I work, and this young man named Jamal Kelly happened to have been working there. You know Jamal Kelly? You do know him? And he always heard me. He said, yo, you should come to the spot, Tropical Soul. Got an open mic called Tuesday Verses. Think you'll really hit it off real good. Then one day, I had nothing to do, and I had no kids. It was a Tuesday night. So I decided to go and check this place out and see what he's talking about. And that was about the summer, early summer of 2004. And I walked in, well, I stood outside that night and I was on the phone talking about what I saw. I never came in that first night, did not. And I just stood out there and I saw it and I was like, wow, this kind of neat. This Love Jones and they got to wait on people know about it and whatever the case may be. And I enjoyed it from the outside. No intent on going in. Never asked how much the cover was, nothing. And then the next week I came back. That was the night Complex was there. And I came in with my ripped up jeans and my hair wrapped. And I pulled a chair from the table, flipped it around and straddled it like this. And was into the whole thing. And I fell in love with Verses those 2 nights. The next night,
I was really captivated years ago when I first went in there. And I think I went every single Tuesday. I think I went every single Tuesday for probably 5 or 6 years. After finding out about it.
In addition to just being there every week, I also do the music. I do consider myself an entertainer. You know, I'm able to play music that people enjoy. A lot of people tell me that they enjoy the music, ask me do I have CDs, all that good stuff. But I just do it because I love music. And, you know, I just try to look out for Lorna just to make sure that Verses is running consistently every week, even though she be hating on my style with the music.
So I wrote this poem right here. Here it goes. Love arcs his head through butterscotch locks and stops the heart with a walk, a glance that makes goosebumps dance across my hands. Romance rolls a crooked stance and has love making coupled with chance. Now she blooms with new moons. Use compliments and end exhausting flumes. Smokestacks with backs turned to newcomers that demand entry brashly. Never on the front line of my mind, plus I prefer asking for permission of this passage. Debating passion, not even grasping the love you already had in me. Girl with the dandelion smile. Buttercup kisses. Skin like sugared fruits. She holds trust under lock and key and demands proof of love purchase. See, fighting is worth it if it leads to purpose of picture-painted wordsmiths. Lightly lily-laid love letters describing assertiveness. Turn on to this love station like, shit, I never heard of this or felt this before. This door was shut and I was kicked in from the core, and I wrote this when I was supposed to be working. Smirking when I'm thinking of you grinning, and it's not just the sinning I'm waiting for. I want to walk and talk on the ocean till we can't take no more. Permanently placing our footprints by the edges of the seas, having conversations so intimately we have to take breaths to breathe. Knowing God bless you before you even sneeze, so please, just say thank you. See, you're so good to me. You're so good to me, and I know sometimes it's not easy. Beauty found its way to your bones and laughs at the expression skin deep. I love the way your ribs feel on the tips of my fingers. The taste of you lingers on my lips for hours after we kiss you. Miss me when I go to work and you're alone. I snicker over the phone wondering how you can be lonely when we have the same home. See, I love you. You're the best part of my day. And when I hold you, I feel like I could write 1,000,000 poems describing how heaven failed to do inventory and lost one of their angels. But baby, I couldn't hold you in those words, because damn it, paper can never be strong enough. Yeah.
I've had people get married at Verses. I've had people meet their loved ones. I've had people say they saved their lives in many different ways. And it just ended up being a place that I think God decided was going to be his spot. That's where he was going to come and bless people and use the people in it as vessels to touch lives.
What I've gotten from Verses, the stage, the family, the crew, just everything, it's just been so much creativity, inspiration for so much. It's also kind of made me less cynical, because I realize that some people out there do consider more than what's in their little world. it really just kind of showed me that, you know, people can come together if they have a common thing that they like. And for me personally, it was I kind of felt like I was adopted by Versus as a singer and as a photographer, you know, and it was a place where I was able to hone both of those skills for myself.
Everything that I do musically comes out of the contacts I met being affiliated with Tuesday Versus.
I love Lorna, so anything she asked me to do, carry speakers, play the music, do a poem, mop the floor, whatever needs to be done, I got it, you know, because that's the love that I have for her. And look forward to 8 more years.
8 years. 8 long, hard years.
So 8 years is a long time to do anything. I think that it hasn't been easy or hard. It's just been something that needs to happen for many different reasons. Everybody needs somewhere to go to get rid of any negative energy that they may have harnessed it from working or just you know, being in this life that we have. And fellowship is what makes those things worth fighting to get through. You know, you need those things to get you through your life. You know, friends that love you, people who are going to smile at you and tell you that tomorrow is a new day and what happened before doesn't matter.
On Friday, October 15th, we are celebrating 8 years of Tuesday Versus.
At the Canal Club, we're going to be starting at 8 p.m. We got this sister, her name is Kimberly Nicole.
Tickets are going to be $12 in advance and $20 at the door. Just come check it out. It's going to be a fresh show. It's going to be lots of love. It's going to be a night to remember.
Well versed.
Friday, October 15th, 8 p.m.